Who among you enjoys making mistakes? I believe no one. That you are more likely to be sad, even sometimes angry, when your offense or attacks are not going well in a match. Because we score the most points on attack and we also have a lot of chances to score points on attack, we also make a lot of mistakes. Unnecessary, stupid, unskilled and unforced mistakes. But that will soon be over. In my professional career, I have met a lot of great coaches who have won Olympics and titles in the world's best leagues. I played against the best players in the world and I still felt I needed to improve on attack. Even though I had a good game and had 60% on offense, I wondered what mistakes I shouldn't have made, how I should have evaluated some situations better. And it's not only my experience of 20 years in professional volleyball that I want to pass on to you in this video. Because every player makes mistakes on attack. Even two-time Olympic champion Erwin Ngapet makes the occasional mistake. And these 20 mistakes describe the vast majority of mistakes you make on attack that you need to avoid. Wrong approach length. Many players make a mistake in approach length. It's impossible to start approach from the same spot on different types of sets to have a consistent approach start, say 5 meters from the net. During every game and practice, you will encounter dozens of different situations. One time the ball will be perfectly passed to the net. The second time you can expect a high set from the field or a middle blocker 2 meters away from you will set you. And you have to be prepared for all these situations and more with the length of your approach. Basically, the higher the set you expect, the longer your approach can be. On the other hand, sometimes your approach will be only one step. For example, when you attack as a middle blocker during transition. Even if you make a mistake in your approach length, remember that the most important thing is always the last dynamic step with your right foot before the jump if you hit with your right hand. Your bad approach can still be saved. Attack to the outside or into the net. A direct error in form of an attack to the outside or even worse, an error and attack to the net often gets me out of my chair. Sure, we are not machines and even top players will occasionally attack into the net. But if I see a player who has 20 attacks in a game and has attacked into the out and into the net 5 times, I can flag his performance on attack. Try to eliminate these direct mistakes, your mistakes and a point for an opponent. Are you in difficult situation? Choose a solution other than maximum risk and a big chance to attack into the outside. Help yourself with recycle, play a difficult ball to the setter, make a tip behind the block and avoid frequent attacks to the out. And I'd rather not even talk much about attacking the net. You can attack there at all. It's a no-go zone. Long jump. I myself had problems with jumping at times. I used to jump a lot into distance during attack jump. It was due to the fact that as an opposite, I often attacked from the back position, and there we do not only jump high but also jump into distance. And then even at the net, many players instead of jumping and landing no more than a meter away from the rebound spot are jumping 2 meters long jumps. They literally fly through the attack. But by flying through, you are robbing yourself of valuable centimeters on the attack. You are then attacking from at least 10 centimeters or more lower than a proper jump, and these 10 centimeters can be crucial to your successful attack or your opponent's successful block. And you can also end up under the net in the opponent's half of the court, and that's already a risk of ankle or knee injury. So be careful not to fly too far forward when attacking. Bad timing of the attack. Poor attack timing bothers the vast majority of beginners and intermediate players. This is because we don't get the same sets over and over again. Everyone likes a certain type of set. Some people like fast sets, others need a set little higher. And then what happens is that you expect your quick set, but the setter is in trouble and gives you a high set. And well, that's your bad timing in the vast majority of cases, underjumping the ball and falling to attack effectively. What's my advice? If the ball is flying towards you from a longer distance and the set is still flying out from the field, wait until the ball crosses the highest point of the flying path in its parabola before you start your approach. On the other hand, if the setter has the ball at the net, you can start your approach as soon as the setter has set the ball. Stereotype attacks. Stereotypical attacking also hurts some players. I myself have always preferred to attack from zone 4 to the diagonal. When the opponents didn't know me, I was successful with my attacks. But as soon as I played against the same opponent for the second or third time, they were ready for me and my diagonal attacks didn't bring as many points. So you too, don't stereotypically attack only in your favorite direction. Incorrect foot position on the bounce. Wrong foot position on the bounce also limits you. If you are attacking with your right hand and your right foot is in front of you when you rebound, this is a mistake. There are certainly some exceptions, players who do it this way and do it well, but there are only a few. This mistake will severely limit the direction of your attacks, limit the power of your hits, and also in the long run you can count on your back hurting because this technique is not natural and slowly destroys your body. Easy balls to the libero. Sure, you don't always get the ideal set against a one block from which you can comfortably attack and score. Often you'll get into situations where you have the ball away from the net, a short set or a huge triple block in front of you. Dealing with these situations with an easy attack or lob right at the libero is wrong in my opinion. The libero is the opponent's best player in the field. He has no responsibility other than to defend your attacks. He doesn't run to attack, he doesn't prepare to start behind the ball for the set, he doesn't block. His job is simple, to pick up your attacks. And if you hit an easy ball to him right where he's standing, he'll happily thank you that he had no work to do. He passed your attack perfectly for the setter and his team has a great chance to attack and score. Don't make his life easy, don't attack easy balls to the libero. Poor wrist control of the ball. And you must have experienced that you missed the ball accurately with your palm and fingers during attack and then the ball flew to places you didn't want it to go. Once out of the 100 attacks, this can happen to you, but if every third ball flies away from you without you even knowing where, you are not working your wrist well when hitting. Your wrist should always give the ball spin, because spin means ball control. So work on your hitting technique and your wrist. In my online course, How to Hit Harder, I address this issue and hundreds of players are already enjoying excellent wrist work when hitting thanks to my exercises and advice. Missing adaptation. Lacking adaptation to your opponent is also a mistake you shouldn't make. Imagine you are playing in the Olympics and an Italian block is facing you. Micheletto with 211 centimeters and Russo with 207 centimeters. No one in the world can attack over or through that double block. The next day you'll play against the Japanese team, where you have in zone 2 setter with 175 centimeters. Where am I going with this? You can't attack against these different blocks in the same way. You have to adapt. Know what attacks apply to a huge, tall double block and on the other hand, how to use, for example, a small setter on the block. Incorrect hand movement. Since I already mentioned wrist work, one of the mistakes is hand movement. Some players have a really poor technique and their hand restricts them a lot in attacking. On the other hand, looking at TJ DeFalco's hand technique, for example, is like a symphony. That's why every attacking player needs to work on his hand technique so that he can attack many types of attacks so that his hand movement and subsequent hits is unpredictable. Predictable attack. Well, I'll stick with predictability for a while. If you approach diagonally and always attack diagonally, you are predictable. If you tip every high set behind block, you are predictable. If from zone 2 after a quick set you love to attack down the line, you are predictable. And once you are predictable, your opponent is gonna eat you up. Just like you, he's looking for your weaknesses, looking to read you, and you make his job easier with your predictability. So think like your opponent, want to surprise him, want to outwit him, want to outsmart him, not adapting to the sets. Despite the fact that setters work hard to make their sets as stable, as accurate as possible, they still occasionally make a unprecise set. You as an attacker cannot make the excuse that you didn't expect this set, therefore you didn't make the point. You are there to correct his inaccuracy and work with what he has said to you. And for me, for example, I used to get 5 crazy sets in a row when I could not make a point. I couldn't tell to the coach to change setter. I had to deal with it, and you also need to be set up before every set. Even for the worst case scenario where the setter doesn't make a decent set. If you are prepared, then no set will surprise you. Impact errors, outstretched legs. The attack itself is not only about approach, jump and hitting the ball, but also about impact after the hit. And it's the impact that most often cause injuries during an attack. You land from a height of about 1 meter, you land on one leg, sometimes you land on an outstretched leg. These are all mistakes that may not bother you for 10 years, but then one jump, one impact and torn ACL dooms you to more than a year without volleyball. So work not only on building strength for the jump, but also for your impact technique and the eccentric strength you need to cushion your impacts. You can take inspiration from my exercises in the Ultimate Guide to Improve Your Vertical Jump course, where I cover exercises for eccentric strength and not just vertical jump extensively. Attacking without tracking the block. Every good attacker needs to track the block where the opponent is jumping against you. Do you have one player in front of you on the block? Or is there a compact double block facing you? It's impossible to decide during the approach, so now I'm going to hit the ball down the line with maximum power. If you decide that, you adjust your approach and your execution of the attack. And if you have a good blocker facing you, you probably know what you are going to get. Instead, wait until the last moment for your opponent block, preferably watching what direction of attack he wants to block you. Estimate how likely the blocker is to reach the double block. Then choose your attack. Not communicating with the setter. One of the big mistakes is not communicating with the setter. I talk about this often in my videos and in our club's training sessions. Every outside hitter and opposite should communicate with the setter during transition, shouting out what type of set he wants and expects. Sure, if you have excellent reception, we all want to play fast, but during longer transition, it's different, and that's where the setter needs to know what you want. That's why this communication is very important. Attacking to the best blocker. If you've been playing a competition for a long time and you've met all the teams a few times, you've already figured out who blocks how on what team. Who blocks well, who waits on the block, who jumps diagonally, who spreads their arms on the block. And then you can try to hit their best player on the block. If their middle blocker has 205 centimeters and next to him is a setter with 185 centimeters and outside hitter with 190 centimeters, then simply high sets cannot end up on the hands of the middle blocker. Why are you going to try their biggest weapon on the block when you have a better chance with the outside players? So before every action, look at who is on the block, who is blocking you, who to avoid and who can you use on the other side. Bad body work. If you really want to attack well, you have to use your body work to the maximum in the air. And poor core body work limits many players. It robs them of 100% of the explosiveness of their attacks, making them unable to attack in multiple directions after the same jump. You just have to use your core. You have to use these big muscles that help every attacking player. Take the example of javelin throwers. They use their whole body in throw the javelin as far as possible. And you as an attacker are in similar position, but you have it even harder. You have to use your whole body, including your core, in the air. You always need to have several potential attacks in your arsenal, and a strong core and his work will allow you to do that. Not analyzing your own attacks. It's after the game, you are thinking, we won, I scored 15 points. So it's okay, I can go celebrate with the team. But that's not enough. It's not enough just to evaluate your overall performance or the team's win. You need to keep learning from every game, from every attack. You should tell to yourself, okay, I scored 15 points, but where did my attacks aim? Did I hit more on the diagonal or down the line? Wasn't it the defense fault that my fingertips attacks were successful? Why was I blocked twice by single block? How should I have better handled the set away from the net against the double block? These and other questions you should ask yourself after the game. Analyze your attacks, praise yourself for good attacks, but also objectively evaluate, observe your strengths, weaknesses and mistakes on attack. This is the only way you can one day become a truly top attacking player, ignoring the opponent's defense in the field. When I was talking to the excellent Polish outside hitter Alexander Slivka on the VolleyCountry podcast, he talked about how he also watches the opponent's field defense on every attack. And I think that's challenging but very important. Again, every attacker has his favorite type of attack. And if my favorite attack was the diagonal attack, the vast majority of teams would put a block against me plus a libero in those spots. And then for me, every attack would be a tough fight with the opponent's defense. It's just that the vast majority of teams also have a weakness in the field defense. For example, most opposite who are over 200 centimeters are not good at defending tips behind the block. And as an attacking player, I should know that. Know and evaluate your chances of success when attacking certain spots, and then exploit the weaknesses of the opponent in the court. All or nothing. And I can forget about all or nothing attackers. These are players who don't care if they are facing a single block or a triple block. With maximum force, they attack 5 centimeters above the net, most often directly in front of them, and their attacks aim to no more than 4 or 5 meters into the field. When they make a point like that, they are stars. It was an incredible attack, and they have earned the respect of their opponent. Yes, that's 1 or 2 out of the 10 sets. Don't be like these players. Don't attack all or nothing. Obviously, mistakes on attacks are part of our everyday training and playing the game. But on the other hand, if you eliminate most of those 20 mistakes, you will see how much your attack will change. How you will be able to hit better and make more points and celebrate more victories. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.